So, I don't know if you all have seen it. There is a comic out there called Assigned Male that is about trans issues and issues dealing with... it's really mostly about trans issues. And there has been one, or actually a few, that I think are presenting ideas that... for lack of a better term, they muddy the waters. Those terms being male vagina and female penis. I'm going to get right down to basics here, and this is probably going to be as dry as a dry martini. Okay. This is the way, at least the way I think most people see things. The male is the biological species. When it comes to procreation, the male is the one that does the injecting of biological material, shall we say, and the female is the one that is receptive of said biological material, and this biological material combines inside the female, and the female then proceeds to gestate, and the species continues. That's about as dry as it can be. Now, the issue is that there has to be a term for each role. So right now we have male and female. Now, in our world, there are people born into this world who are a mix of the two. And what has happened to these people has been an incredible injustice. They have been modified, they have been surgically modified and changed, or they have been shunned for what they are. And this has mostly happened in Western Christian society. Take that back. Not just Christian society. Western society, and other societies as well. These people are called intersex. And they are a combination of male and female. They have both bits. Now, my understanding is their reproductive organs don't work. But that doesn't make them illegitimate human beings, because not every human being, I think, needs to reproduce. But we have our categories, male and female. And what is happening is there seems to be this group, this notion of eliminating even biological sex, because what I just named is called biological sex, as most of you know. But there is this push to even eliminate that as a designator. You know, first there was gender, and I'm all for that, because gender is, to me, it is a set of rules and limits placed upon a person due to their biological sex. Males behave this way, women behave this way, at least in Western culture. Notice how the male is kind of small and the woman is wide. What I mean is they've got the definition of female is a broader definition and includes more things in Western society than male. Women can do a lot of things that men can do, but men are kind of shunned from doing some things that women do. Basically, they should be, in my eyes, they should be bigger, the definitions should be wider, and more intersecting with one another. Anyways, back to my point. Okay, when you really get down to it, the purpose of the male, as I said, is to inject the female with biological material to continue the species. Now, if it wasn't for outside, external outside conditions, like needing to get food, needing to build shelter, needing to defend from wild creatures that want to eat you, the purpose of the male stops at injecting. An example would be bee colonies. A bee colony consists of mostly workers and one queen. But there's a time in the year, I think it's like once a year or something like that, where larvae that would otherwise just grow up to be workers are treated with bee jelly or something like that. I'm not sure what it is, but basically the result is a bee called a drone. A drone is a male bee. They look very different from a female. They have very different from a worker. They have a bit longer of a tail, their legs are a little different, and their whole head is essentially a big compound eye. But these creatures have only one purpose, and that is to carry the genetic material of one colony to another colony, impregnate a female worker, I think, and that worker flies off and makes a new colony as the new queen. This is my understanding. I might be a little bit off. But the point is, in that, the male has very little use other than to carry the material. In human culture, of course, males have far more purpose, and basically humans have more purpose than to reproduce. No matter what people say, when they say, well, our purpose is to reproduce. No, our purpose is to exist, and then to continue the line if the environment allows it. So yeah, we have these things. We have these characteristics, male and female. Now, what has happened is that attached to being male are all these other things that have been attached that are only tenuously related to biology. That is, once again, I guess, going out and defending against bad animals that might eat them. Defending the women from that, so that the women can continue to raise the children so that the species will procreate. This is base biology we're dealing with here. However, along with this, and as civilizations developed, they started building these rules and stuff about how women are supposed to look and how men are supposed to look and what women could do and what men could do and all of this gender rules. And this, I think, is one of the biggest problems we have. Yeah, there'll be people saying, we don't have any problems, our world's just fine. Have you looked at the fucking world lately? Have you looked at the fucking protests? Have you looked at the fucking people who are not happy about being male or not happy about being female to such an extent they feel they had to change their bodies and put chemicals in their bodies? Now, granted, there are a percentage of people that are quite literally born in the wrong body. But I don't think it's as many as we've got going. In one of my other videos, I've commented about how a lot of how female androgynous models like Grace Slick? No, it's not Grace Slick. Oh man, I forgot her name. Gorgeous black female model. Rain Dove is another one that pops in my mind. Most of the female androgynous models I know of, when I say androgynous, I mean they model both male and female styles. Grace Jones, that was her. They're very androgynous, but they're also women. and they admit to being women, or they identify as non-binary. I think Rain Dove is identifying as non-binary right now, but I'm not sure. But they, that's what they are. They identify as women, except Rain Dove. I'm not sure about Rain. But then you have the male androgynous models, and most of those male androgynous models I know of have announced their transition. And because they've announced their transition, and it just seems odd that, to my knowledge, no female androgynous models have announced their transition, but most of the male androgynous models have. And that raises a question of what the fuck. Well, I experience this stuff I experience a lot of the sort of stuff that I think might be pressuring that, and that is the limitation upon my expression because I am male. I can say my presentation is androgynous till I'm blue in the face. Some official individual will still tell me that if I want to go to a job interview, I have to look like a man. And, you know, this is the sort of thing that happens. Now, I think for some jobs, women are also limited as well. But the rules that limit them are, once again, gender rules. And now I'm going to go back to my original thing with about male of the species and that sort of thing. What the hell does hair length have to do with biology? What the hell does wearing a skirt have to do with biology? What does makeup have to do with biology? None of it is biologically dictated. None of it is biologically ingrained. The only thing that ingrains all of those things outside of being the one doing the injecting and the one being injected is all social. And in many ways, some of that social stuff is stifling, is limiting. And, you know, I know there's people out there going on about soy boys and all this kind of ridiculous shit. And, it's like, no. The thing is, for as long as I've been alive, I have thought male styles are just so boring, so dull. I mean, fuck, a pair of jeans, yay. Ooh, you can make them black, whoopee. Whereas right now, I'm wearing leggings, okay? Leggings were a unisex garment when they first came out, but then they sort of got taken over by women, rightly so, because guys were too scared to wear them, I guess. I don't know. Or guys who wore them were called faggots, or any number of misogynistic, homophobic terms. I get it often. All of that stuff is socially made. And I think what we need to do, this is what I think we need to do. I think we need to maintain male, female, intersex. I see no problem with that. There is a possibility that intersex people, if they have an I put on their birth certificate, they're going to be modified. And that sort of shit needs to stop. Modifying a baby when they're born to something that's more socially acceptable is bullshit. Unless there's unless there are health complications, leave the child alone. Do not modify it. I mean, my ex-girlfriend, she was put through some stuff. She was intersex, and she was put through some stuff, and it's absolute bullshit. You know, it's like, where did your thing about God being perfect and never making mistakes go when you started changing something that just came out naturally? You know, it's not like chemicals cause this, because this has been going on since time immemorial. I think Talmud has got like definitions of different sexes, and it's not just 2, it's 6. And one of them is androgynous, male and female, otherwise known as intersex. Androgyny is expression of male and female styles. For me, it's female styles with a male body. That's what it is. Now we can get into what makes things male and what makes things female. I'd really like to understand that myself, because I don't get it. So, yeah, anyway, so to get back to the first part of this discussion, I don't see how getting rid of biological sex is all that terrific. If a child comes out and they have a penis, they're male. Okay? Unless they have a bit of a vagina. Then, if they have that mixture, they're intersex. If a child comes out and they have only a vagina, they're a female. Now, what is done to that child because of those bits of their body is the issue. Okay? What they are allowed to do and what they are not allowed to do, what society says they should do, what clothes they can wear, that's all non-biological stuff. And that's the issue. That's where I've basically said what needs to be done is for, or what needs to be done, what needs to be sort of, what needs to happen is for gender labels on things, activities, non-biological, and careers, and just stuff like that. Gender on that kind of stuff to go away. For the stores to stop dividing things by sex. Stop dividing things by gender. You know. Stop calling things that you're trying to market towards men that are otherwise feminine, like eyeliner. Get rid of the term guyliner and just advertise it as eyeliner. Because it just goes around the eyes. That's what it is. It lines the eyes. Eyeliner is literally the definition of what the product does. Get rid of guyliner. Get rid of man bag. Get rid of meggings. Get rid of all that crap. If you have to change your names just to market to a group of people that are so scared of things, then you're not going to get anywhere. You know, I mean, the term guyliner is now considered a joke, and it should be. It's an absolute joke. Meggings, that's just lame. You know, and no, I don't say lame to be offensive. I'm using lame as in dumb. Okay, let me take that back. It's meggings, the term meggings isn't lame. The term meggings is stupid. That's what it is. Okay? So, that's my video. It's kind of rambly. Please put in the comments what your thought process, what your thinking is. I tried to be as, you know, it's like navigating a minefield when you're talking about this sort of thing, but I don't think what the assigned male comics is trying to do is something that needs to be done at this point. What needs to be done is for the issue of gender limits on things to be removed. That's what needs to be done. That's what needs to happen in society. And we're going to have a hell of a time if we're going to, quote, pretty much muddy the waters by removing biological sex. By saying, well, there is no biological sex. It's a social construct. Yeah, it is. In a way, it is, because we need to categorize things. And when it comes to gender, you know, female behavior, male behavior. Okay. If a guy acts sort of feminine, so what? That's the thing. You know, I'll end my video with this. If somebody doesn't take food from your mouth, doesn't steal money from your wallet, doesn't deny you anything, and doesn't foment hate for anything, leave the person alone. Let them live their life, and don't set up obstacles against them. And don't tell them how to look, how to dress, and how to act. Leave them the hell alone. It doesn't hurt you, and it doesn't hurt anybody. Does my style, when you really think about it, the way I'm dressed, does it hurt you at all? Because it shouldn't. There's no reason it should. You know, so that's it. That's my video. And like I said, comment, and there we go. Have a good one. Bye-bye.